One of the best things that today's youth can do in order to achieve glory in their lives is to actually learn from the experiences and mistakes of those people who have already achieved the glory in their lives. And that is exactly what I am planning to provide you through this talk show or the podcast, which is Dialogue for Glory, wherein I would be inviting and interviewing top professionals from their respective fields. So the plan basically is we would be diving deep in their minds and उनका सारा experience, सारी सीख हम चुरा लेंगे so that we can apply that in our life to achieve glory. In the episode number 1 of this series, we have with us a very special guest. He has experience of staggering 35 years in Indian Army. He is a retired brigadier turned author and a professional speaker. Now he is a time consciousness coach and he has delivered more than 600 sessions in the corporate world throughout this 16 years after retirement. I would recommend you go check out all of his social media handles. I have given the link in the description. So at the end of this interview, if you find that something valuable has been added in my life, then consider subscribing this channel and share this video with all of your fellow friends and fellow defense aspirants, because this video is related to the life inside Indian Army. I'm really glad that you accepted my invitation for this interview, and I'm sure this interview would be valuable for all of those students who tune into this podcast. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. No, I'm equally honored and I'm very happy to be here because I love to contribute to the youth in whatever way I can.
Wow, sir. So let us start this interview with a very interesting question and a bit personal. कि what was that one day कि जिस दिन आपने ठान ली कि भाई जाना है तो आर्मी में ही जाना है? What was your motivation, sir?
Okay, so really speaking, I don't remember much, but the thought had started getting seeded into my mind when I was very young, going, I was probably in class 2 or 3, walking to my school in Shimla, which everyone had to do. There were just about 3 cars in the entire city. And I used to see these army officers walking to the Western Command headquarters in bunches of 3, 4, very smart looking officers. And somewhere, the way they walked, the way they conducted themselves, the glamour of the uniform, that used to give me an idea that could I be one of them one day in my life. And then one day I got this opportunity where one of my friends who was going to a different school, and he asked me for my maths book. And I said, why do you need my maths book? I was that time, I think, in class 5 or 6. He said, I'm appearing for Scenic School. And I said, what's that? And then I saw the prospectus and I applied for Scenic School. By then, things were just moving up, but I was not as motivated. That time it was that I want to go to a Scenic School. Why I wanted to go to a Scenic School, also I don't know. But then those 4.5 years, from class 7 to class 11, those made a lot of difference. They made a lot of difference. In those, the motivation kept going high, because there, the entire environment of the school was totally army oriented. Because the Scenic School's primary aim is to prepare boys for NDA. That's the primary aim of Scenic Schools. So with that focus, everything around in the school used to be pointing towards that. And then I think I was in the 8th or 9th when the first boy from school went to NDA. And it used to look, we used to look upon him as God, oh, he got to NDA. I mean, you couldn't be luckier than that in life. And really speaking, I was looking at, and if I was ever praying to God, I was only saying, God, please let me go to NDA. And there was nothing else. So in my life, and I like to say this to my young friends, today you have n number of options. I don't know how many of you know that a class 12 student has about 30,000 career options today. But we didn't have all that.
Wow.
We
Correct.
didn't have that. There were very few options people
Correct.
to exercise. And I remember one thing for sure. Yeah, one thing I remember, and that is very, very certain in my
Okay.
mind was I never thought of another option. For me, it was just
Okay.
army.
Just army.
Through and
Yes.
through, there was only one option. I want to join the army.
Correct, correct, sir. So, can you describe one experience in your SSB? And second thing, the assessors वो कैसे पहचान लेते हैं कि ये बंदा ऑफिसर नहीं है और ये बंदा ऑफिसर है? So, how do they distinguish what is the criteria?
ऐसे कोई पहचानते नहीं है. What happens is that in the SSP, as you must be knowing, there are distinct things. There is a group task, there is an interview, there is psychological test. So there are 4, 5 different people, and all the departments are doing their tests independently.
Correct.
So there's no one person who's deciding, and everyone then
Okay.
gives their marks, and in the end I'm told they have a conference in which everyone then reveals that I found him. So if sometimes it so happens that everyone says yes, he's fit,
Mm-hmm.
then there's no discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Or if anyone says reject, then there's no discussion. But if there is a conflict where somebody says reject and somebody says select, then they go into details and they see
Mm-hmm.
where they
Mm-hmm.
dive a little deep into the reasons why somebody is rejecting him and somebody is selecting him,
Somebody.
and then
Okay.
they take a joint decision, and the
Okay.
president of the SSB is the final authority,
Final authority.
because
Okay.
he himself then interviews people. Now I'm told it's filtered. In our case, everyone went through the president
The president's interview.
interview. Now I think you don't. There is a screening app. So people who are not getting through the first level, they don't even go for the interview at all.
Yes, sir. Okay. So when you got selected in NDA, how did life change? कैसे आसपास के लोग कैसे बिहेव करने लगे? एंड सेकेंड थिंग, एनडीए में जो why do people say कि boys enter NDA and men come out of NDA? Why is that said, and what exactly happens inside NDA?
So I also say, I say this is a factory where you get ordinary people joining in and extraordinary people coming out. Now I have seen it with my own eyes. When there were some people who were absolutely like introvert, बात नहीं करते थे, confidence का नाम का चीजें नहीं था उनके अंदर. And when they passed out, they were confident. They could speak. And I'm telling you, when we go home, and lots of us share these incidents. When you go home for your term break after every 6 months, so India has 6 terms of 6 months each, and after
Mhm.
every term there's a term break. Summer vacations, that is after June, when there's a passing out, it used to be 6 weeks. In winters it used to be 4 weeks. I'm not
Mhm.
sure what the pattern now is, but should be the same. Now, in this term break, when you went home, people
Mhm.
used to tell us that you are a changed person. One thing for
Correct.
sure, the drill that you do in India, it made you walk more smartly.
Wow.
Like I used to sometimes use a term which in India is a slang called slouching. So don't slouch like a civilian, people would say. And once my brother got very upset and he said, "What do you think are civilians?"
Mhm.
Because in the army we start thinking that okay, we have to do things differently. We are not in the run of the mill now. So
Mhm.
the thing is to be told to us that you can't walk casually, and
Mhm.
casual walking or walking without a straight bearing is called
Mhm.
slouching.
Mhm. So,
Like see on the street,
in,
people walking casually. So he said, no, you have to walk smartly. So that means you've got steps, you're going in rhythm and all that. So the way you walk, the way you talk, and let me share an incident with you here.
okay.
A little later in life, I was a second lieutenant. I was going home for the first time. So you're traveling in a first class compartment. In the old days, a first class compartment with 4 people sitting in a cabin. And we used to get a trunk from NDA, and the trunk size was such that the height of the trunk used to be less so that it could go into the lower part of the seat.
Okay.
Now that had a name, so it was a black trunk. All of us used to have it, a black steel trunk with white letters saying Second Lieutenant Sushil Bhasin.
Mm-hmm.
I turned that around because I was going on leave for the first time and I was going to Shimla. So I
Okay.
could wear my NDA blazer, which went in other people, they say, oh, you're so
Mm-hmm.
lucky, you can wear the blazer, but people who are going to planes would not be able to wear those blazer in summers.
Hmm.
Right? So I was going all prepared that when I go to the mall road and with my NDA blazer and
Hmm.
my NDA tie, oh my God, all girls would fall for us. So I did my best to grow my hair and avoid a
Mhm.
haircut, avoid the CO, commanding officer, for some time to see that he doesn't notice my haircut. So that when I go on leave, I have a little longer hair than my very crew cut that they gave us.
Mhm.
So with all that I had done with the hair a little longer, not very long, but so, and with my name hidden and all, I got into this compartment and there were three more people who walked in. And
Mhm.
so I was not pretending. I didn't want to sound like an army guy. I wanted to play a neutral game. So when these people came and then we started introducing ourselves and some conversations were going on. And
Mhm.
once I've said, but it's different for people like you in the army. I said, how did you know I'm in the army? He said, first when I saw you, I thought you looked like an army guy.
Mhm.
But the moment you opened your mouth,
Correct,
so
correct.
I'll tell you what, there is a particular way that people in the civil street recognize us. And not only that,
Mhm.
let me tell you, even in the army, an ex-NDA officer is picked up by his behavior, by his language, by the way he appears. Although
Mhm.
I think when we pass out of IMA, everyone is same because
Mhm.
everyone gets a similar training.
Simple.
But that time we used to have a belief, particularly when you've just gone in, you had an
Mhm.
experience of 3 years, and other people in the IMA had just 1 year because we joined in the third term. So
Mhm.
there is something about India that makes you different. And I'm very proud of it because today I feel, you see, Sriniket, yeah, people if they ask me what is the best thing that happened to you in your life, my answer is NDA. It is the best thing that happened to me in my life.
Amazing, sir.
Today I
Amazing.
look back and say that all the good things that happened to me in my life happened because of the base, the foundation that was laid in the National Defense Academy.
Correct, correct, correct. So we can we can make a separate podcast on life inside India itself. But then let's move ahead. So can you briefly describe the organization and the structure of the army for our listeners?
Okay, so let me go bottom up. That's easier to understand. So
Okay.
the army structure is built in a very, very structural way. And we'll first talk about the infantry. It's very difficult to give you all structures, but I think from a civilian's point of view, this will be enough to know that the
Okay.
lowest fighting unit is called a section,
Section.
and a section is of 10 people.
Okay.
Okay. So the numbers I'm giving you are approximate. I mean, there could be 30,
Mhm.
11 and 36 and all, but I'll just take that
Okay.
as the approximate number.
Okay.
Three sections make a platoon. The
Okay.
platoon has 30 plus there'll be 5, 6 people in the platoon headquarters, so about 36 people, right?
Okay. Right.
Then you have about then you three platoons will make a company.
Make company. Okay.
Okay. So three sections make a platoon, three platoons make a company, and four companies make a battalion.
Okay.
Okay, so it'll be approximately in an infantry battalion, you will have about 120 people in a company and approximately 800 people in a battalion.
Mm. Okay.
Now, three
Okay.
battalions. So battalions are normally like fixed. You go into a battalion, like I went to 2nd Battalion, the Bihar Regiment.
Okay.
I would probably stay in that battalion till I command it. And after command, of course, you have to leave the battalion and go into, when you
Okay.
become a brigadier onwards, then you command a brigade, so you're out of your battalion. But
Okay.
till you are a commanding officer, you normally stay in that battalion.
Okay.
You can be shifted to another battalion, you can be shifted to another regiment also. But
Okay.
generally, one aims at you love to command the battalion in which you are commissioned.
Correct.
There are a very
Correct.
large percentage of officers who join a battalion carry on in that battalion. Very few of them
Correct.
to other battalions.
इमोशनल अटैचमेंट हो जाता है बटालियन से.
Emotional attachment के लिए नहीं है, but हो जाता है. That's a secondary thing. Yes, because you stay. So today, even after 50 years of being commissioned in the army, I still have a very, very strong affinity and love for my battalion, which is Second Bihar. And after 5 years, I shifted to Army Service Corps. And if you see my cap, which I'm wearing, this is ASC one. So this is the ASC.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So after 5 years, I shifted to Army Service Corps because of a medical reason that I couldn't continue in the infantry. And then for the rest of my service, I was in the ASC. So
Okay.
I'm very much in love with ASC. I'm also in love with Tubia.
Bihar.
Okay.
Yes.
So there's nothing wrong. Even in life, I feel there's nothing wrong in being in love with more people. Okay.
Correct.
So that is what.
Sir.
Sorry, if I want to continue, so 3 battalions will make a brigade,
Okay.
3 brigades will make a division,
Okay.
and then normally 2 to 3 divisions will make a corps.
Cool.
Then
Okay.
there's no structure, the corps could be any number, make a command.
Command. Okay.
And then there are 6
Seven.
6 commands,
Okay.
which are regional commands, and one is RTRAC, which is Army Training Command. So this is the complete structure of the army. The armored corps has a similar thing. Instead of calling platoons and all, they are troops and they are squadron and they are regiments. So
Okay.
the nomenclature names change. So is it a little slightly different in artillery, but basic structure of the infantry remains this. Then in the services, the structures are little different. But I
Okay.
think from a civilian's point of view, if you understand 3 sections make a platoon, 3 platoons make a company, 4
Okay.
companies make a battalion, 4
Yeah.
companies plus a support and admin company, so 5 companies, and then 3 battalions make a brigade, 3
Yes.
brigades make a division, and then divisions make a corps, and corps make a command.
कि फैमिली लाइफ कितनी होती है, हाउ मच छुट्टियां कितनी मिलती है, एंड कैन यू टेक योर फैमिली अलोंग टू द पोस्टिंग, व्हाट आर ऑल द रूल्स फॉर एज एन ऑफिसर.
So I'll tell you firstly, you have to be conditioned and understand that your family, when you join the army, is not your mother, father, brother, sister. They become a secondary. Your family becomes your battalion, your paltan. That becomes your family. And that's your primary family. Your secondary family consists of your father, mother, brother, sister. They're all becoming secondary.
Correct.
I'll tell you that once when I went home for Diwali, I realized that it was, 13 years of my army service and 4 years of training in NDA, IMA. I told my mother, I said, it's after 17 years that I am celebrating Diwali at home. Okay. I have missed both my very near and dear chacha's marriages. I could never get leave to join them. Okay, because the circumstances were such. Sometimes you may not get leave for your own marriage, and your marriage may have to be deferred. Or I used to joke around and say, if I am not able to come on leave, then you can use my photograph and get the girl married to my photograph.
Photographs.
That is of course a joke, but leave in the army, there's one sentence, and today, when I'm in the corporate world and I have a team working with me, things are so different. People take leave to be granted. In the army, they say leave is a privilege, it's not your right.
Wow. That's quite inspiring, sir.
Yeah. And I think we get quite used to it. I'll also tell you there are some strange things that happen in the army. I'm authorized 60 days leave. And in the beginning, for the large number of years of my service, leave was not
Mhm.
encashed, or leave could, leave can't be carried forward. If you take 2 months, you're entitled 2 months of annual leave, 60 days of
Mhm.
annual leave. If you take 30 days, you could not say next year I'll take 90 days. वो उसी साल में कैलेंडर ईयर में खत्म हो
हाँ,
जाता
वो
है.
सिर्फ कॉर्पोरेट वर्ल्ड में चलता है, इधर नहीं है.
Then what they started was quite later, and now I think is existing, is that you can encash your leave. So if I don't go for 30 days on leave, I spend,
Mhm.
then I can get 30 days pay extra. So you can
Mhm.
encash it. But even before the encashment came, I had not taken more than 1 month's leave many years. And you feel that I don't need so much of leave. So why? What will I do at home doing nothing? So let me
Mhm.
continue serving. So
Correct.
serving your battalion and being in your battalion becomes your life. You quite enjoy it. And life in the army is so full of quality that
Mhm.
and I'm telling you, in the battalion, and whether you are in any arm or service, even in ASC, I did that. Uh,
Mhm.
anyone's birthday, any child's birthday, you will find all officers, children, ladies in that house wishing that person a birthday.
Mhm.
Everyone knows everyone's birthday. Everyone knows. And let me tell you, I've done this in the corporate world also. I tell them that in the army, we don't bond as officers, we bond as families. The bonding is between families. The
Wow.
children are bonded.
Wow.
So if I was going on a motorcycle one day and I was crossing a children's park in a small cantonment called Ramgarh,
Mhm.
and I saw that children were fighting. So I stopped my motorbike, and I was quite a popular uncle, and all these children used to really love me, and I used to love children. I love the children. So
Mhm.
when I stopped the bike and I said, "Arey, tum lad kyun rahe ho?" So one child runs to me from my regiment, from my battalion. He says, "Uncle, देखो ये हमारे झूले पे झूल रहे हैं." तो मैंने कहा, "किसने बोला ये तुम्हारा झूला है?" तो बोला, "ये बिहार रेजिमेंट का झूला है, ये सिख रेजिमेंट का क्यों आ रहा है इसको?" तो मैंने कहा, "ये बिहार रेजिमेंट का नहीं है." बोला, "वो देखो बोर्ड लगा हुआ है." And there was a board saying maintained by 2 Bihar. Then I called all these children and said, "No, no, ये बिहार का नहीं है, हमारा काम उसको मेंटेन करना है. Please play around, it's for everyone." And then I made a
Mhm.
big announcement to all the children. I said, "कोई second
Mhm.
बिहार का नहीं है. This park is for the complete brigade."
हाँ, हाँ,
Okay.
हाँ.
When there is a match going on, you will find all the ladies and children cheering for your battalion. I don't think in the
Mhm.
corporate people, even the wives know, or the children even know maybe just knowing the name at the best, but they won't even know what happens in that company and what that company stands for.
Correct.
So we are very, very strong. Our family is our battalion, and we live for each other. We don't die for the country, we die
Will-
for our battalion. We die for our people around in that battalion.
Wow. So I've even heard कि आर्मी के सेपरेट सर्च ऑपरेशंस होते हैं just to rescue the dead body. So
Exactly.
it's because of that family spirit.
Yes, yes. We don't leave. In Indian Army never leaves its dead bodies on the battlefield. You have done a operation to get your dead bodies.
Wow, sir. So next question is related to battalion itself from the sports angle. कि जो बटालियंस होते हैं इंटर बटालियन बहुत बहुत तगड़े मैचेस होते हैं. बटालियन की इज्जत है, हमारे हमारे पलटन की इज्जत है. तो व्हाट आर दो स्पोर्ट्स मैचेस एंड व्हाट इज द ओवरऑल स्पोर्ट्स सिनारियो एज एन आर्मी ऑफिसर?
So, firstly, sports is a very integral part. और सबको sports compulsory खेलना हो. Okay. So
ओके.
every day of your life, other than Sundays, there is a games period. And
ओके.
100% people are expected to be on the games, on the sports field.
ओके.
ओके. और अगर हम कहीं ऐसी जगह हैं जहाँ पे कोई स्पोर्ट्स की फैसिलिटी नहीं है, लेट्स से यू गॉन ऑन एन एक्सरसाइज, यू आर इन द जंगल or you are in a field area, आप नए नए गए हैं, अभी वहाँ पे कोई sports facilities
Hmm.
नहीं है.
Hmm.
आप चाहे कबड्डी खेलेंगे, चाहे खो खो खेलेंगे, where you don't need any infrastructure,
Hmm.
but game spirit होगा.
Hoga. Hoga.
Now, why sports is considered very important is whether it is mountaineering, whether it is sports, they bring about lot of leadership and teamwork qualities.
Hmm.
And I have particularly found in my life
Hmm.
that people who are good sportsmen are good human beings as well. I'm not saying other way
Okay.
around. Okay, I mean, it doesn't mean that if you don't play sports, you can't be a good human being. But I
Correct.
say that generally speaking, because in sports there is a spirit of winning. There is a
Hmm.
spirit of accepting a defeat as well.
Correct.
There is a spirit of teamwork. There is a spirit of winning together.
Hmm.
And those are the qualities that you imbibe from sports into the army. And I think they are so
Correct.
precious, so precious.
Correct.
And because we don't have that culture in the civil, I see the opposite.
Correct.
That people don't understand the value of teamwork, they don't understand. So I've been doing corporate training for the last 15, 16 years now,
Hmm.
and I've done more than 600 training programs in the corporate. I'm telling you, I see the difference clearly.
So the sports is the reason for that difference.
Not only, I mean, sports is one of the reasons. I'm saying, I told you all what I'm saying is whether it was the training, your
Hmm.
basic training in NDA or IMA, your basic upbringing, the values that you have. There's a code of conduct for an army officer. We live with something called OLQ, officer
OL.
like qualities. You are born with them in NDA, you are checked for them, and you are counseled if you don't have a proper quality, whether
Hmm.
it is integrity, it's loyalty, communication. A whole lot of OLQs are there, good about 36 if I remember correctly. Uh,
Hmm.
and that makes your backbone, that makes your structure, that makes your
Hmm.
fundamental structure on which you live your life.
So, so you mentioned about there's a definite time for games period every day for an army officer. But then, sir, what is the daily schedule? और कब होता है वो games period? सुबह को, शाम को? What is the schedule of?
Normally, in a battalion, the routine would be like this. And of course, when you're out on training exercises and all, or you're out on some other duties, like you could be on a flood duty, or you could be on a, there are various types of peacetime jobs that we get.
Hmm.
You may have heard, I mean, wherever there's a flood or there is a railway strike, army is called in for certain things. Barring all that, the normal routine in a battalion is that you start your day early in the morning, depending on the season. Could be 6, could be 6:30. Normally, not later than that.
Hmm.
You start your day with PT.
Okay. So can you elaborate that for the listeners? PT.
Physical training. Physical training.
Okay.
Okay, like in schools also people do PT, which means your exercises, your body exercises, physical exercise,
Basic exercises.
basic exercises. And of course, in that you may do obstacle course, you may do rope climbing and all those type things. But you will be doing physical training. Uh,
Okay.
Minimum half an hour to 45 minutes is every day of your life a PT period.
Hmm. Correct.
In this period, you could also be once in a week or twice in a week doing drill.
Hmm.
So PT or drill. Drill is your marching. Okay.
Okay.
So these are
Okay.
the two things that will happen. That happens, and then after that you'll normally have a breakfast break. So if you are in a station where you are in peace station, you'll go home, change into your uniform, and be
Hmm.
back by about 9 o'clock.
Okay.
Sorry, by 8 o'clock. Normally we start our day at 8 o'clock. So you would do PT from 6 to 6:30, and then from 8 to 1 o'clock will be your office.
Office. And what
This is
happens in
the time.
office?
This is the time when you will attend to your office work, which could be your communication, like you get messages and all, you attend to them. You attend to
Okay.
your Jawan's problems. You may have pay distribution, any of those activities.
Okay.
This time from 8 o'clock to 1 o'clock is also your training time.
Okay.
Okay. So you will have a training program in which you may be having your troops going out for training, map reading, all the military subjects,
Okay.
right? 1:30 normally we go out for a lunch and then
Okay.
we come back for games. And that coming back for games is about 3, 3:30, 4, something like that. So you
Okay.
have about an hour or so games period. Then again you go have your bath and all, then there's a roll call. Roll call happens somewhere around 6 o'clock, and that
Mm-hmm.
is mainly for the troops. So
Mm-hmm.
officers don't normally attend, but duty officer could go and attend a roll call just to
Okay.
get a feel. Otherwise, the roll call is where the Jawans get together and they are
Mm-hmm.
given orders for the next day.
Okay.
Okay, so that's a daily roll call is daily. Uh,
Okay.
some battalions may excuse the roll call on a Sunday, but some battalions would continue having a roll call on Sunday as well.
Okay. Okay.
Right. So this is generally the routine. Sundays are generally given to people for their personal work. So on a Sunday in most units, there's
Mm-hmm.
no structure, but there
Mm-hmm.
could be structure also. Like on Sundays, in every battalion, normally you will say there'll be a Mandar parade. It's called a Mandar parade, which means if there's a Mandar function happening, and
Mm-hmm.
Mandar would mean Mandar, Gurdwara, mosque, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't know how many people know that in the army we also have something called Sarv Dharam Sthal. So, like in my
Okay.
battalion, in the same mandir in Tu Bihar, you will have the because we have a class composition of Christians and Hindus. So you
Mm-hmm.
would have the Christians and
Mm-hmm.
Hindus attending the same mandir, and they attend the same church function. And
Okay.
when in field area we don't have enough space, we have both in the same place.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we don't go by that if I'm a Hindu, I will not go to the church or I'll not go to the Guru.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone, all religions are good for us.
Mm-hmm.
Humanity becomes our religion.
ओके वाह सो सर्वधर्म स्थल में जहाँ जो भी चाहिए वो जा सकता है उधर
हाँ, सब जाते हैं और सबकी मूर्तियां लगी
सब
उधर ही सामने। उधर जीसस क्राइस्ट की भी मूर्ति लगी है, उसके साथ ही राम सीता की भी लगी है या हनुमान की लगी है। इट्स डजेंट मैटर।
एंड एज एन आर्मी ऑफिसर व्हाट आर ऑल द अदर अपॉर्चुनिटीज मतलब अब्रॉड जाने को अब्रॉड भी पोस्टिंग होती है या फिर दे कैन परस्यू द फर्दर एजुकेशन व्हाट आर ऑल दोज अपॉर्चुनिटीज कैन यू एलैबोरेट सर
Yeah. So some people can get posted abroad, and they are considered lucky. I never got a foreign posting, but lots of my friends have been
हम्म
very good foreign postings, whether in the United Nations or otherwise. Somewhere you get instructional postings where you go as an instructor. Some places you go just as in a UN peacekeeping force or whatever,
हम्म
or you can also go as military attaché. Good
हम्म
opportunity. Army, I think, gives you lots and lots of opportunities. Firstly, is you travel at least all over India. So there is no state in India, I think, where I have not been, if not posted. So you're posted. For example, I have not been posted in Kerala, but the army gave me enough opportunities to go to Kerala.
हम्म
So we go all over India. We see all the borders, and that's a great experience. It's a
हम्म
very good experience. You get to know the country very well, and your exposure is very good. Okay.
हम्म
Uh, Army also gives you lots and lots and lots, I'll say, of opportunities in both sports and adventure. No other organization will give you such a, whether it's
Correct.
skiing or it is rafting or golfing. For example, almost every cantonment will have a golf course. And you
Correct.
can play golf by paying just a very, very, nominal. For example, when I used to
Hmm.
play in golf in Bareilly, I remember I used to pay 30 rupees a month, okay,
Hmm.
for as a golf course fee. And then you used to pay something to the caddy, and caddies also would charge you something like
Hmm.
20, in those days about 20 or 40 or 50 bucks maximum. But when you go and play golf in a civil course, it is like
Hmm.
at least 10 to 20 times more expensive.
Okay.
Okay. We have lots of riding facilities. We have, you know, there are sports which sailing. I mean, we have
Hmm.
you will find national services people winning all these only because the opportunities are there. And the opportunities of adventure, I was telling you, whether it is para jumping, or paragliding for that matter, or rock climbing, mountaineering, all these
Hmm.
facilities. So if you are an adventure guy,
Hmm.
you love that challenge, no better place in the army, because army will give you abundant of opportunities.
करेक्ट बट देन ये सब अपने जो स्केड्यूल बताया एज ऑफ एन आर्मी ऑफिसर और ये अपॉर्चुनिटीज ये कब करने को मिलता है क्योंकि दिन भर तो पैक है तो व्हेन विल दे गो फॉर
Yeah, yeah, if I'm going for mountaineering, then I will probably be on a mountaineering course in 3 months alone. So I have been from my scenic school, I went to HMI, Himalayan Mountaineering Institute, Darjeeling, and
ओके
did a 1 month adventure course.
ओके ओके
So there is nothing like that. And people, for example, if somebody is going and playing polo, yeah, he'll play polo in the evening. He may play. So if you are selected and you are playing polo in the morning, you'll be exempted from PT. So that's okay. Structure. Let me just tell you that routine is not so fixed. I mean, it is. You can. There can always be exceptions. So not
फ्लेक्सिबल
100% people may be attending PT. 80% of people are attending PT. The others could be on leave, or they could be government courses. We have lots and lots of courses in the army. So you'll go to another place, like we have got about 56 category A establishments. So for example, like
कैटेगरी ए का थोड़ा
आपको बताता हूँ कैटेगरी बी होते हैं, लाइक रेजिमेंटल सेंटर्स वे जवान्स आर ट्रेन. ऑफिसर्स ट्रेनिंग के लिए जो मेन प्राइमरी इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं, दे आर कॉल्ड कैटेगरी ए एस्टैब्लिशमेंट्स.
ओके
Okay, so like NDA is a category A establishment, infantry school, college of combat, which is now called Army War College. These are all Cat A
ओके
establishments. Okay,
ओके
School of Artillery, College of Military Engineering, all of them. And I commanded a Cat A establishment called Army School of Mechanical Transport (ASMT), which now has merged with the Army Service Corps Center and College. So you go on courses there, and it could be a 3 months course or a 1 month course or a 2 weeks course. So army gives you lots of opportunities, and when you go out, then for those 3 months you're out of your battalion and you're only doing whose course maybe. For example, in our ASMT, we used to have a course called the Officers Transport Management Course, OTMC. And in this course, every day you have to do morning में PT, then after breakfast to lunch are classes, evening are again games. तो वो कोर्स पे भी गेम होगी. बट अगर आप एक लंबी कॉन्वॉय पे जा रहे हैं तो गेम नहीं होंगे, गेम्स एग्जाम्प्ट हो जाएंगे.
करेक्ट
देयर इज अ सर्टेन अमाउंट ऑफ फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी.
और सर वो डिस्क्राइब कर सकते हो इंटरपल्टन मैचेस वो थोड़ा डिस्क्राइब कर सकते हो सर.
So interpalton matches जब होते हैं तो once I told you, if the families are around, then it's like a total मतलब कि like जंग छिड़ जाता है कि you know there's a lot of spirit, the cheering up and the preparation that goes for it, and the enthusiasm to win. But I'll also tell you, while there's an enthusiasm of winning, we quite cheer our, let's lose a match, you still cheer the winner a lot, and you accept that he played better than you.
Okay.
The sportsman spirit, I think, is a very basic training that we get, and it goes deep into our DNA.
तो कौन से स्पोर्ट्स होते हैं उसमें इंटरपल्टन इसमें?
तकरीबन सब होते हैं, particularly hockey, football, basketball, volleyball, shooting. Although that's not sports, but it is quite considered a very important inter-battalion competition. It could be an obstacle course competition. So ऐसे भी कुछ competitions होते हैं. But sports में generally these 4-5 are the main primary games. And then you could have, of course, like golf का there'll never be an inter-battalion golf. वो officers के level पे होता है, तो वो open championships होती हैं.
Okay.
ठीक है. Riding में will be an open championship. So there won't be inter-battalion. Those type of things. But ये जो 5-6 main primary games हैं, sports हैं, इनके inter-battalion matches हैं. कबड्डी के भी होते हैं. Many.
And how many times in a year this happens?
Normally it will be once a year. So like inter-brigade or inter-battalion. So हर brigade तो level ऐसे होता है कि आप battalion में एक team बनाते हैं. तो टीम बनाने के लिए first you will have your own internal inter-company match. Okay. Inter-company matches से आपकी battalion team बन गई. फिर battalions की जब inter-battalion matches होते हैं तो उनमें से selection हो जाती है, तो brigade की team बनता है.
Okay.
But many times it will be like the best battalion of the brigade now represents the brigade in the div championship.
Okay.
And then the div championship, the best battalion in the div in a particular thing. Like, for example, in 2 Bihar, we used to normally, we were very good in hockey. That was our prime game. So we would easily, every battalion used to land up as a div champion. I mean, like, either you are there as a winner or a runner-up. And then that battalion, then normally there would be a selection from the division. A mix of the teams would go to for the command teams, and then services. So it goes right up to like that, their selection. But we've had our 2 Bihar team going and block and representing even our command in services.
Wow.
That can happen.
So I've heard कि कुछ रेजिमेंट्स ज्यादा प्रमोट करते हैं स्पोर्ट्स को और कुछ रेजिमेंट्स थोड़ा कम. तो कौन सी ऐसी रेजिमेंट है कि जो ज्यादा स्पोर्ट्स को प्रमोट करेगी, या कौन सा ऐसा कोर है जहाँ पे स्पोर्ट्स को ज्यादा प्रमोट करेंगे?
मैंने तो यही देखा है कि सब में वो स्पिरिट होती है. Somewhere, yes, it could be, and also it is not permanent. There could be one particular commanding officer, there could be one particular colonel of the regiment, there could be one particular leader who gives extra emphasis, and uske tenure में वो battalion थोड़ा ज़्यादा emphasis देगा. But I don't think that should be taken as a thing. I think everyone, in general, sports are given a very high level of importance.
मैं भी खुद बहुत इंटरेस्टेड हूँ स्पोर्ट्स में, इसलिए मैं ये सब ज्यादा पूछ रहा था.
I'll tell you one more thing. Every year, right from the Chief of Army Staff would lay down a directive for training and sports in the year. Okay, so he would give us just one page type of a direction that he wants particular part of training, could be counterinsurgency, could be desert training or whatever. He would say that this is one thing that has to be focused on this year. And then it trickles down, and then that keeps getting expanded. And by the time you get your training instructions, they are a very detailed document. So there is a structure, there is a method, and army that is very, very structured and organized, and everything happens in a very, very systematic manner.
Okay.
See, for example, I'll tell you, I get so surprised in the corporate world. For example, in a bank, they would say, sir, I can give you this next week because the person dealing with it has gone on leave. Or in a company, you're asking for something and you say, sir, can you, we'll revert to you after 3 weeks because the person is on leave.
Hmm.
In the army, you'll never ever hear this. There's a structure. I can't go on leave till I hand over all my duties to somebody who will be officiating in my place. So
Hmm.
we say an individual can go on leave, an organization doesn't go on leave.
Hmm.
So therefore, अगर मैं नहीं करूँगा तो मेरा काम कौन करेगा? वो मेरे leaves. When I apply for leave, there is
Hmm.
a thing where say which are my duties and who's going to handle them.
Huh. Okay.
I hand over all my pending work to somebody, even temporarily. But
Okay.
there is, whenever I am not able to do my duty, I have passed it on to somebody else, and that somebody else is committed to perform it on my behalf.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
This I don't find anywhere in the corporate easily.
So although it won't matter much for those who really have the passion for army, but can you give us an idea of what is the pension or what are the other benefits as an officer or what is the pay scale of officers?
Yeah, man. You know what? Things have changed so much. मेरे को तो अपनी भी पेंशन याद नहीं होती कितनी है. So the point, what I'll say is, pay scales keep varying, and let me tell you one thing. When I joined the army, I didn't know what pay I'll get, and somehow I'm quite surprised कि ना हमने किसी को एनडीए ज्वाइन करने से पहले पूछा था कि आर्मी
Mhm.
ऑफिसर को पे कितनी मिलती है. I think there
Mhm.
was one question that never came in our mind. Was our generation not money minded or what? I don't know. But मेरे को पता है कि only in IMA somewhere towards the end हमको पता चला कि हमें सेकंड लेफ्टिनेंट को 450 रुपया तनख्वाह मिलेगी.
Okay.
And that's the money. My first paycheck was 450 rupees.
Mhm.
Or was it 400? I don't remember, but it was between 400 and 450. Okay. That was the pay we used to get, and it was good for us. हम उसी में से बचा भी लेते थे. उसमें से हम 100 रुपया प्रोविडेंट फंड में काटते थे.
Mhm.
50 तो कंपल्सरी होगा. What you get as a benefit, which also is in a big controversy these days called OROP, but you are entitled to a pension all your life, and so much so that even after you are no more, your wife gets it till she lives.
Mhm.
So that's called the
Okay.
family pension, and that's my very personal view. Some people who listen to this may not like it, but I think that the pension we get is not bad at all. I am quite
Mhm.
happy with it, even though
Okay.
the whole army is going around expressing unhappiness. And the reason is that that is a very valid reason. What the government had promised and what we should be getting, we are not.
Okay.
We need to, I mean, like, we are not getting our entitlement. We are,
Mhm.
and what I feel certainly very bad about is that the
Mhm.
presidents of the army, the importance of army has been going down. Uh,
So
the
why is it so? Why is it so, man?
that's a country's policy and the bureaucracy and the politics. But I don't want to indulge in that. But certainly, uh, the chief of the army staff's order of precedence has been going down. Low, it's getting lowered and lowered every time. That
Mhm.
is a sad part. If you see equivalent what people get in corporate and all, we'll never probably match up with those standards. But I'll tell you what.
Mhm.
Let me tell you clearly that all my life I have had much lesser pay than my counterparts in the civil or my schoolmates who were my caliber, who did
Mhm.
equally well in corporate. I think I may have got half their pay.
Mhm.
Okay. But I had double their standards of life. So, you know what, the house
Correct.
we live in, the type of, you get free accommodation, you get free medical,
Mhm.
you get free rations, which
Mhm.
of course started in 1983. So before 83, we were not, officers were not getting free rations, only Jawans were.
Mhm.
Uh, all the privileges that you get in the army, and even as a retired officer today, I have free medical benefit, I have free
Mhm.
canteen benefit. Okay,
Mhm.
not free. I mean, I have a canteen facility where I get much more economical stuff.
Mhm.
So I think the most important thing is that I've always used this term. I said, till you live like a man. You
Correct.
you
Correct.
live with dignity. You live with dignity, um, And I think that's very important. I still remember another small incident where I was with the uncle, my father and my uncle sitting in Delhi long time back, and we had a family servant who had then left his job, and then he was running a auto rickshaw in Delhi. And they were talking about him, and they said he earns about 1,000 rupees a month. And I got a little perplexed, and I said, "An auto rickshaw driver gets 1,000 rupees?" I know. So my uncle said कि तुम क्या समझते हो, ये जो कैप्टन की तनख्वाह होती है ना, वो तो एक छाबड़े वाला भी, मतलब vendor can also earn that. And that's the day I told him. He's a big businessman, and I told him, I said, "Uncle, I know that. I know that people can earn more money than us, but they can't live a better life than us." मैंने कहा, आप जब रेलवे स्टेशन पे खड़े होंगे ना, तो आप मेरे से कितने बड़े हैं, आप बहुत इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट हैं, आप कितनी भी बड़ी फैक्ट्रीज हैं, लेकिन मैं सेकंड लेफ्टिनेंट हूँ ना, तो मेरे को स्टेशन के ऊपर मैं यूनिफॉर्म में खड़ा हूँ, 1,000 लोगों में मैं पहचाना जाता हूँ, आप नहीं पहचाने जाते.
Perfect answer.
And not only if I'm in uniform, I'm telling you, sometimes even when you're not in uniform, your conduct, your behavior draws attention. People respect you better than another person. So I think army may, I will say very strongly to people who are wanting to join the army, don't even look at the money. That's the least part of the important things. All our families will agree, all wives and children, they did not have the best of facilities in terms of, like, you can't buy the best of toys for your children, you may not buy the best of dresses for your children, but your children enjoy a much better and a high quality life than anyone else in the civil world.
Correct.
Today, when I'm talking about children, we have a community called Army Brats, which is Army officers' children.
Yes.
When I say Army officers, I mean Army, Navy, Air Force.
Okay.
And you know, this BRAT is an acronym. It is on, reared, and transferred. You know, people, our children grow up with a lot of values. And generally in the, you'll find, you can see some of the best actresses, you can see best people in the industry, girls, boys. You'll find that the army officers' children do well in life because they live a life which is full of dignity. They live a life of discipline, and they live a life which is more valuable. So I feel that army gives you much, much more than the money can give you. And army gives you lots of things that no amount of money can buy.
Definitely, sir.
Yeah.
Definitely. So, is there any interaction of senior officers with politicians? One, and second is, are there any tweaks or improvements that army can make to empower it more?
So, army officers don't generally have any contact or inclination or any connection with politicians. In our senior ranks, or even when you're a staff officer in army headquarters, you may be dealing with the ministry. So you contact only the bureaucracy, basically. So we do have some interaction with them. But in a normal life, till you are at least a colonel and all, you have, or in your battalion and all, you have nothing to do with these, either with politicians or with bureaucrats. But whatever little interaction you have is only with bureaucracy, not with politicians.
Okay. And what?
Speaking of tweaks, I feel I won't talk much about it, but army does need a little bit more of authority. They need a little more of, I would say, independence, because for every little thing you need to go to the government for approvals, and that is not so good. So, let me also take you back to things have improved. There was a time when I was a young officer, let's say during the Indo-Pak conflict, and thereafter you were, those days, army officers could not take any decision at all. And there's a small incident that comes to my mind. We were guarding the prisoner of war camps in Ramgarh. And, one of the prisoners who tried to, come close to the fence, he was told by the guard, "Stop, I'll kill you otherwise." And he said, "Go, go, go. Ask Indira Gandhi first before you fire a shot." So even the enemy knew that even to fire a shot, Jawan has to be given permission by the government. Those things have become better. Now, as of today, I understand that particularly this government has given enough leeway, and the army does take a certain amount of decisions on its own. Interference is lesser, but still a lot is there, and that's the only thing I feel. The chief not being involved, the army not being involved in decision making of strategic national level decisions, that is something which still is not good. So now we have a CDS.
Okay.
He plays another role. But in 71, there is a very, very important case where Sam Manekshaw, who was then the chief, in his historic, there was a cabinet meeting in which Indira Gandhi told him that we need to go for for Bangladesh, to create Bangladesh. And he said that means war. And she said, "I don't mind." And he said, "If you want a war, we cannot go right now. We'll have to wait till November." So that story also talks about that he was not involved when she said what's happening in Bangladesh. He said, "How do I know what's happening in East Pakistan?" He said, "You never involved me. I was not even informed that something is happening like that." So the point is, army chief and CDS and all, they require to be involved in the strategic decision making of the country's national policies.
सर मुझे पता नहीं आपने नोटिस किया कि नहीं, बट बातों बातों में आपने एक एक्सपीरियंस भी बता दिया, वो वाला जब the enemy started going out of the fence. So can you tell some 3 or 4 more experiences during your tenure?
Like what? Experience of what?
कौन से भी जो जो यादगार रह गए, जो दिमाग में रह गया अभी तक?
Okay, so let me tell you an incident of my battalion. हमारी बटालियन में जब मैंने ज्वाइन किया तो एक मैस हवलदार था, उसका नाम था कृष्ण. Krishan was a नायक actually, but he was a mess हवलदार. तो वो कई साल मैस हवलदार रहा, और नॉर्मली नहीं कोई रहता है, बट वो उसका ट्रेड था मसालची. सो मसालची से वो कई साल हमारा मैस हवलदार. तो वी वर इन सिक्किम, and battalion was in near Gangtok, and he belonged to Darjeeling. And my commanding officer would tell him, "Kishan, you are the only person who can really speaking avail of this proximity कि आप इतने नजदीक हैं अपने घर के, तो आप तो हर संडे को भी जा सकते हो. Why don't you avail of this?" But he used to never do that, because he used to feel कि जब वो चला गया तो मेस में काम कैसे चलेगा. I'm saying devotion to duty was such that he was so loyal to the battalion that he would, I've never seen somebody who's so involved and so down to, attached to the battalion. So it was more important for him to be in the battalion than to be at home. One day, and if any officers came from outside to our battalion, our hospitality used to be great. So it would be that the best of our mess food was very good. A lot of people used to come from outside, and if they dined in our mess, they used to really be very happy with the standard of food that we had. And it's all because of this one man, Krishan, who used to take so much of interest in the whole thing. So one day, we had one captain of Rija who wanted some beer. And so he said, "Kishan, beer." So he said, "Sir, beer khatam ho." So he said, "Tum wine store kholo zara." He had a doubt because he was the wine member a month earlier, And he remembered that there was beer lying there, and after that, he hadn't seen anyone consuming beer. So he had to open the wine store. And when he went, he found there was one case of beer lying there. He said, तुमने झूठ बोला मेरे को. यहाँ तो बियर पड़ी है. And you said कि बियर नहीं है. He said, सर ये बियर तो बिहार के लिए नहीं है, ये खाली गेस्ट के लिए है. मेरे मेस में कोई गेस्ट आएगा तो उनको क्या मैं बोल सकता हूँ कि बियर खत्म हो गई? Now look at that. I mean, that spirit of the battalion, and he would go stern on certain things because he had seen. My commanding officer had been a lieutenant when he had become the mess havildar, and today that lieutenant had become a commanding officer. So he used to take a lot of authority and a lot of pride in saying it's my battalion, and I will not let the pride of my battalion get hurt.
Wow.
There we came to a peace station in Ramgarh, and I was going in a jeep to the bank, and I saw Kishan walking with a bag to the market. So I stopped the jeep and asked him to get into it. So I told him कि जब मैं बैंक में जाऊंगा तुम अपना shopping कर लो, मैं आती बार भी ले आऊंगा because its cycle had punctured. So he was not going on a cycle, he was walking. So now I finished my bank job and came, and he was still in the market. So I also just followed him and I saw what is he doing. Now he went and found tomatoes in one place. Then he looked at another place, then another place. तो 4 जगह उसने प्राइस पूछ के क्वालिटी देख के तब जाके उसने टमाटर खरीदा. I said यार तूने मतलब what इतना टाइम तूने लगा दिया एक टमाटर खरीदने में. तो बोला क्या मैं महंगा खरीद लूं? Now normally people, because it's a government money or it's not his money, people would go and buy whatever rate you are getting. You won't go and take those pains like you do with your own money. So that was one thing that you saw how people were. Talking about my battalion spirit that people have, right down to the जवान, इतनी spirit होती है उनकी.
Wow.
एक और मैं इंसिडेंट जो कॉर्पोरेट्स में बहुत बताता हूँ, वो एक कैप्टन मैथ्यू करके को था. I hope I'm getting the name right. He was in 17 Bihar, and he was in the counter-insurgency operations in Kashmir Valley. And one day, suddenly they got information that there were some terrorists in a house, and immediately they launched, ambush to catch these people. तो वो ऑपरेशन लॉन्च हुआ और इसमें ये कैप्टन बाहर खड़े थे. There's a covering fire that somebody will go inside, other people will stand outside. There's a drill.
Okay.
So the other captain went inside. And while he was stealthily looking around for terrorists, suddenly अचानक कहीं से पता नहीं चला एक गोली लगी और वो गिर गया. तो बाहर दरवाजे पे इनको दिख रहा है कि भी मेरा जो साथी है वो नीचे गिर गया है और ये नहीं समझ में आ रहा था कि is he dead or is he wounded. So what he did, he crawled and picked him up and was bringing him back when another bullet came and hit his head. So yeah, forehead में गोली में. So he was wearing a helmet. तो हेलमेट ने उसको बचा तो दिया लेकिन सिर में अच्छी चोट आ गई. He was then evacuated to the hospital in Jammu. He got treated for some time and then he was given 1 month sick leave, which means he should now go home. So he was supposed to be taking a train to Delhi from Jammu, where his home was. But instead of doing that, next morning he took the convoy and came back to Srinagar. And then he joined his battalion. And the CO said, I can't take you. You are a low medical category. The rules don't permit that I take you on duty. He says, I'll give you in writing. He said, but why should you do that? Why don't you go home and relax? He says, मैं घर में भी क्या करूँगा, बैठा रहूँगा ना. तो अभी there are 20 officers who are authorized in the battalion and we have only 12. And if I also go away, there'll be 11 left. So that means somebody else is going to do my duty. So I'll rather join in, sir. आपको एक duty officer तो होता ही है. तो मैं अगर बाहर नहीं जा सकता तो कम से कम मैं duty officer की duty तो करूँगा. एक officer बच जाएगा. The commander was very happy, but he was not very sure whether he can allow him to do that. So he asked the
Correct.
brigade commander, and the brigade commander said, "I take the responsibility. You keep him, and
Hmm.
he's really an exemplary person. We must encourage such things."
Hmm.
And then after a few days, there was another operation at 3 o'clock in the morning when he didn't even think about how to get another officer or something, and he's not supposed to be on duty like that. He also joined in and got a second head injury. Okay.
बाप
I
रे.
want to, I ask a lot of corporates how many people who are given sick leave would join their battalion because of the sense of duty that there are 12 officers authorized, and I can't be one who is sitting at home when
Hmm.
my brother officers are fighting.
ये सिर्फ आर्मी में हो सकता है.
और आर्मी में क्यों होता है, ये भी एक बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है. अगर दो भाई हैं, एक भाई ऐसा करता है जो आर्मी में है, उसका जो दूसरा भाई कॉर्पोरेट में नहीं करता है.
करेक्ट है.
This I attribute to something called organizational culture.
हम्म.
ये अगर आप सिंगापुर जाते हैं तो जहाँ वहां पे कुछ गिराते नहीं है, बिकॉज वहाँ कोई नहीं गिरा रहा
हम्म.
है. और आप 2 साल सिंगापुर में रह के आ जाओ, आप इंडिया में आओगे तो फिर वैसे ही करोगे, बिकॉज environment makes a difference.
हम्म.
So it is the environment in which you are being brought up that the organizational culture makes a
हम्म.
difference, and that's why I tell corporate people, build your organizational culture.
कल्चर. करेक्ट. करेक्ट. सो वेरी अमेजिंग एक्सपीरियंसेस. बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिलता है इससे. सर एक लास्ट सवाल कि पहले कैसे वॉरफेयर होता था जब हमारे 1600s में वगैरह, तो तलवार से वॉरफेयर होता था, फिर आगे बंदूकों से वॉरफेयर, नाउ देयर आर लॉट ऑफ मिसाइल्स एंड ऑल. तो फ्यूचर में वॉरफेयर कैसा होगा? रोबोट्स आ जाएंगे क्या? रिप्लेस क्या होगा फ्यूचर में?
अभी भी वॉरफेयर एक्चुअली जो है वो ज्यादातर यहाँ होना शुरू हो गया. It is, what is your strategy, your psychological warfare has taken over the conventional warfare,
हम्म.
and that will continue to become more. AI will get more used in warfare for sure, but I don't think robots and all अभी कुछ ऐसा मेरे को नहीं लगता है. But I may be outdated on that. I'm out of the army for 16 years, and I'm so involved in my corporate training and all that I do not have enough time to catch up on the latest in the defense. So I'll apologize if I'm not very updated on that part. But this is my own feeling that the psychological warfare and the AI-based equipment and all will take priority. But I have my doubts if robots can really come into warfare at the moment. Maybe selectively they can. Maybe selectively they could be used for mine breaching and things like that. Not beyond that.
सर ये साइकोलॉजिकल वॉरफेयर को और थोड़ा इलेबोरेट करोगे सर?
मतलब ये है कि जब हम कैसे अपने माइंड को ज्यादा यूज कर सकते हैं, and the way we launch an operation, the strategy that we apply become more important than the physical valor and the physical bravery. So if I have to give you an example, what I can recall straight away, in 1965, Pakistan had launched an operation called Operation Gibraltar.
Okay.
I don't know whether you are aware of it or not.
बता दीजिए.
I was, I think, in class 8 that time, if I'm not wrong, 8 or 9. And we were in senior school Kapurtha, and we have seen that happen. So the Pakistanis had launched an operation in which they flew very low-level aircraft and dropped paratroopers in Punjab. They wanted to have a whole lot of them collect and then combine together and then launch an attack. That means they never had to cross the border. They would reach the inner part of the country through this operation and then combine and create havoc in the. This was a beautifully planned. So the planning was very good. I mean, so this is where I'm saying psychological warfare or using mind more than the conventional weapons.
Correct.
Of course, that operation failed very badly because people in Punjab were smart enough. They cut them. They understood there are a lot of things to that. I won't go into details. एक बेसिक फंडा पकड़ लिया कि वो लैंग्वेज भी वही बोलते थे. It was easy for them to merge with the people. Nobody would know कि ये पाकिस्तानी है कि ये पंजाब. तो वो सब पंजाबी थे. लाहौर वाले बंदे थे. मतलब like they were from the well combined Punjab. So there's no difference in the way they look, the way they speak, the language, the food, everything is same. But what was different, where the our Punjab people were very, very smart. They said कि ये अगर पैराशूट में आए हैं तो ये 8 दिन का 10 दिन का खाना ले आएंगे लेकिन पानी तो नहीं ला सकते ना. तो they guarded all the water places and जहाँ पे कोई जान आदमी दिखता था पानी पीते उसके पूरी इंटेरोगेशन करके पकड़ लेते थे कि ये इंडियन है कि पाकिस्तानी है. बहुत ऐसे पकड़े. So that operation failed. It failed. So I normally use that example also in how what do you call a brilliant plan, if not implemented well. So you know a lot of people make brilliant plans but they don't know how to implement them. In corporate, I talk about this, that your plans can be brilliant, but if they're not followed by brilliant execution and implementation, they're of no use.
Correct. Absolutely. So let's end this talk by the word of advice for the youth.
I personally feel that today's youth has become a little more materialistic. They are also a little more into their comfort zone. So, giving more values to life could be a better option than be looking for, because I know that today's generation keeps asking paisa kitna milega. The very fact that we never asked that question. And I remember one day an officer just made some mention of how much a house will cost. And my commanding officer was so upset and annoyed. He says, you're just a captain thinking of a house. He says, तुम पर्सनल ऐसे सोच भी क्या रहे हो? तो तब सोचेंगे जब रिटायर होने लगेंगे. Okay, now that of course was not so great. I feel that people should plan their finances and all. And today people are wiser. Even as captains, they invest into, they invest their money properly and all that. हमारे टाइम में नहीं होता. The point is, today that materialistic world, that should be, look at more values of life. Where you'll get money, look at where you'll get more value. I taught that to my children also, even when they were getting jobs and all. I used to tell them, don't go for where you're getting more money. Go find more value than
value. Okay.
So that and rest, of course, there are many things in which the new generation is smarter than us. Respect them and love them for that. I as I told you earlier also, that I gel very well with the new generation, but I certainly want that they should be more human than more materialistic. Respecting people. आजकल बड़ों की इज्जत इतनी नहीं करते हैं, अपने कस्टम्स ट्रेडिशंस को भूल रहे हैं. आपके पास अपने रियल फ्रेंड्स नहीं है लेकिन फेसबुक पे बहुत फ्रेंड्स हैं. So somewhere you are losing those values, and let this artificial thing not take away let the artificial thing not take away all your priorities. Let the world not be ruled by just internet and I'll say all the glamour of it. Let's come back to basics. Basics are, let's be more human.
Such an insightful talk, sir. And I'm sure ये talk सुनकर जिन्होंने ये सुना है session, ये पूरा सुन के बाहर as a different person emerge करेंगे. I thank you so much, sir, for attending, for taking out time from your schedule, and thank you, sir.
Thank you. I'm honored. Thank